Good evening, everybody. We'll wait till it hits 5:30, but I wanted to go ahead and start the webinar a little bit early, so we are live. Oh, my cat wants to play. Hope everybody's good. Staying safe. Booster shots, everyone. Governor just announced that everybody 18 years and older can get them now, so poor health department's going to be going crazy, I'm sure. But there is a clinic on Monday. You can get your COVID booster and your flu shot all at once. Save yourself some arm pain. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 5:30. Welcome everybody to Budget and Finance. Consistent with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or a device, there is a raise hand button that you can tap or press to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. That being said, this is a public meeting, not a public hearing. So it's at the discretion of the committee if they want to take public comment. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome everybody here. I am Melissa Cox, Chair of Budget and Finance, at-large counselor. The co-chair is Councilor Memhard, and member is Councilor McCarthy. So we are all in attendance tonight. And with us this evening, we have Sherry Carbalis from the clerk's office, Kenny Costa from the auditor's office, Chief of Police Ed Conley, CFO John Dunn, and DPW Director Mike Hale. So we are going to take a few items out of order tonight, just for getting people out of here that are waiting. The first item on the agenda, the CFO loan authorization in the amount of $410,000 for the Harbor Master Patrol boat. We are waiting on other meetings to happen in order for them to come back to us with more information. So that is being continued to our next meeting on December 9th. Does anybody have anything they want to say on that item before we move on?
Just that I think all three of us have received the Capital Strategic Solutions info, which I'm thankful for that they've gone and done that, and that's one of the steps that we would ask them to do, and they've done that, so that's great.
That is good. Thank you for persisting on that one. I also want to say that I hope that those recommendations, all of them, are followed for getting money. If we combine the ask, all the better. So next item on the agenda is Police Chief requesting acceptance of a grant in the amount of $40,392.
Good evening, everybody. This, Madam Chairwoman, this grant is one that we get every single year from the federal government. There's no match. This one is going to provide 33 upgraded ballistic vests for our officers.
Awesome. Any questions from the committee? Okay. I recommend the City Council accept under Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A, a U.S. Department of Justice FY21 Bulletproof Vest Program grant passed through the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security in the amount of $40,392 for the purpose of purchasing 33 ballistic vests for Gloucester Police Department officers. The federal portion of the grant is $20,196 and the state portion is $20,196. The grant expiration date is August 31st, 2023, and there's no local match for this grant. And I so move.
Second.
Further discussion? Thank you for going after these as always. It's always good to keep everybody up to date in in gear.
Thank you.
So,
It is.
thank you.
Special thanks to my financial manager, Stacy Nicastro, who really does the behind the scenes heavy lift on this grant.
Awesome, thank you. Anything further? Roll call vote. Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Memhard,
Yes, may it keep our forces safe.
Council Cox. Yes, motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is another grant for road safety in the amount of $35,000.
So this grant is the one that funds, we received it past several years. It funds our extra traffic enforcement initiatives, some of which are defined by the state when we accept the grant.
Any further questions on this? Is this the same grant that we used to buy the new signboards and the speed detector thing?
I don't think we use this one for the signboards. We did use it last year for bike helmets for kids. That was part of it. But also it's mostly just enforcement over time.
Okay, great. Anything further? Okay. I recommend the city council accept under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, a federal grant from the US DOT National Highway Traffic Safety Administration passed through the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security's Office of Grants and Research, a federal fiscal year 22 municipal road safety grant program for $35,000 for the Gloucester Police Department to provide funding for traffic enforcement and road safety. The grant period is October 18th, 21 through September 15th, 22, and there's no local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second,
Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Council Memhard,
yes,
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Cox. Yes, motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
councilors. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
you too, Chief.
Mike, are you here for Dogtown?
I am not. I am here for the supplemental appropriation for the high school lockers, so the stabilization fund for the lockers.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if we were taking that other, or if you were talking to the other one or not. Okay. All right, next up on the agenda, the supplemental appropriation for 100,000. Mike,
Yep, sorry, I'm trying to switch back to off the mute, not bother anybody. The high school is, there's 3 levels, 3 floors in the high school, and over the years, we've picked away at replacing lockers. We've kind of stalled the last few years, and between the high school principal, superintendent, and the business agent, they've identified this as a needed amenity for the school. So we've priced out what it would take to take care of the 2nd floor, and I believe it's a portion of the 1st floor. I'm unsure the number due to the size of the lockers may change. There's obviously less students in the school, so you need less lockers, but you still need to occupy a similar space. And it seems students these days carry massive backpacks, and they don't fit in the skinny lockers that only fit jackets right now. So this appropriation will allow us to execute a purchase order through state bid for new lockers for the high school. It may be done in a 2nd shift, or it may be done during vacations. I don't know if we can do it during when school's in session, but certainly a 2nd shift would allow us the flexibility to do that. And again, this was a request of the schools of Public Works as the manager of the facility.
great. Any questions from the council?
John, this is coming out of the stabilization fund.
Yes, so again, we kind of take a look at, hold on. Smiling face now. Yeah, so we're taking this out of the maintenance stabilization fund, which is where we go for this type of thing. And again, we try and take a look that, if something is going to be, $75,000 or more, then that's probably where we're going to go. If something is going to be, 20,000 or less, we're going to really be looking to one of the operating accounts to see if we can fit it in there. But at $100,000 for the totality of this, it made sense to go to this stabilization fund.
Okay, I know we haven't got free cash numbers yet, but did they have a surplus this year to close, or do we know the school department?
Well, again, so the school department doesn't really get free cash. So free cash is certified across the city to the general fund, of which the school department is part of. So, we're still waiting for that. When that comes in, we will distribute, or the recommendation would be that the distribution would go to the council in similar lines to the past, 3, 4, 5 years in terms of how it gets distributed across the 3 stabilization funds, and the balance gets retained within general fund free cash. Again, as we've done in the past, and will probably be my recommendation again this year, when free cash comes in and is certified, that we make a contribution to the OPEB fund, the other post-employment benefits.
No, I understand all that. What I was wondering is, did the school have a surplus? I know usually when they have a surplus, when they close their books, they pay ahead on sped. And I wondered what the number was on that this year, or whether you had it.
Yeah, I don't have the exact number, Counselor, but they've done the similar to what they've done in the past. Yes, they do retain some of that in order to prepay sped and reduce the impact on the current year's school budget. Something that they've been doing up here for years. I saw it in both other places where I've worked, and I would recommend that they continue to do that. So that prepayment of sped almost serves the school department as a free cash cushion.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with this.
Yep,
I mean,
that's what it is. So it's hard to determine what it is. Again, we don't know what the sped expenditures are going to be, until actually those students who need that support move into the system.
okay, maybe later on, maybe we'll have that number, John. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're on mute,
You
Counselor.
muted.
On mute.
Thank you. Kenny, since we're on that subject, Kenny could read my lips. He unmuted and everything. Do you have any idea when we're going to hear from the state?
So right now we're in the process of closing the books. We're working with John's office. Actually, John and I were actually talking about that today. So we're going through it. We're hopeful that, in the next month or so, we'll be able to, submit to the state. I know there is a delay. Things are just taking longer nowadays, to do it. I can answer, Councilor McCarthy's question if you want to know how much is going to be turned back from the school. I do have that amount. It's going to be approximately $290,000 from the general fund, the school that will be turned back. But
Thank
so
you,
we're
Kenny.
looking at probably about January, and that's what when free cash was certified a year ago. So I'm anticipating we're probably about heading, at the same time, probably January, we'll have free cash certified.
Great. I kind of figured you had a rough number, but yes. Hello, CFO Don.
So again, as Kenny has said, what we're hearing from the Department of Revenue is that their primary focus is going to be on setting tax rates, on approving the tax rates. So they're probably going to be dealing with free cash on the back end of that once they get past the big rush of doing the tax rate classifications and settlements. So it's unfortunate, but that's where we are. They're short-staffed, they're working from home, and what's more important is making sure that everybody's tax rates are set.
And that's what we're working on right now in the city. We're working on getting the tax recap into the state so we can get certified, so we can send out tax bills,
Yay.
which is important.
Yes.
At least we're not a town. So they can't even, we can estimate ours. They can't even do that. So, all right.
Melissa,
Um,
it sounds like it's not going to be our problem, it's Scott's problem.
Well, hopefully, Counselor, it's not going to be a problem.
So
We'll
for the,
solve it working together.
so the gag gift we're gonna give Scott is a bag? Is that what I'm hearing is because we're leaving him holding the bag? Sounds like a good inauguration present for me. All right. Any further questions on the supplemental appropriation? All right. I recommend the city council approve supplemental appropriation 22-6 in the amount of $100,000 from the Building Maintenance Stabilization Fund to the Building Maintenance Stabilization Fund, GHS School Lockers, replacement, building improvements to fund the cost of replacement of lockers at the high school. And I so move.
Are these multicolored or school spirit red?
Okay, our color is
Seconded.
maroon, first of all.
They are maroon.
Maroon. Figured. Seconded.
All right. Anything further? Roll call vote. Counselor Memhard,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes,
Counselor Cox. Yes, motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you, Mike. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.
Thank you.
All right, so our other item on the agenda is the funds for Dogtown Preservation Commission, $6,531.14. Did I send that to everybody? The
This is
email?
a transfer out of the Gloucester Fund.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Cindy Dunn, who is the chair, has a meeting tonight and she couldn't be here. So she sent an email. I just wanted to make sure I sent that to you guys. I can't pull up my email for some reason.
You did.
Okay. And so it explains why it exists, where it's coming from, and they don't know how they're going to use it yet, but I trust that they will use it wisely. So, does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. All right. I recommend the city council accept under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, a cash donation in the amount of $6,531.14 previously held by the Gloucester Fund and transferred to the new city's Dogtown Preservation Commission donation fund for the purpose of the DPC's mission to formulate and implement a comprehensive plan for ongoing preservation, restoration, management, education, and stewardship of Dogtown. And I so move.
Second.
Further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Councilor Memhard,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
yes,
Councilor Cox, yes. Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, so, just so you guys know, I met with community development and we're working on streamlining the TIF process. Right now, it could take anywhere from a month to a month and a half to get to us and then negotiate and then come back. So what I'm recommending is that we eliminate the need for it to come to budget and finance twice. So the current process is that the TIF committee reviews the application and recommends to the city council through the mayor's office that the application be considered. The city council refers it to budget and finance. The TIF committee and the applicant present the application to budget and finance. we vote to authorize the TIF committee to negotiate the terms. The TIF committee negotiates, the TIF committee recommends terms to Budget and Finance. We vote on it, goes to public hearing, it's full city council. So all that takes a lot of time. So on the front end, I would like to, instead of giving them permission at Budget and Finance, but more so to discuss accepting a memo of intent to negotiate. So that way we can help them with saving anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So, and the state timeline is much stricter than our timeline. So that's what we're trying to pare it down to accommodate. We'll get a memo from community development and they'll refer it out to the mayor's or put it to the mayor's office and then city council. I'm hoping that we'll have it for Tuesday's meeting so we can see it once on Tuesday and then discuss and vote on it at our last meeting in December. So I wanted to get this set up in place before the new council so they don't have to worry about stuff like that. So, yes, sir.
So I had a conversation today. Okay. And, you know, you should be getting a memo from Sal DiStefano. It'll be kind of a late entry into the mayor's report, but it should be coming out to the city council on Tuesday to basically accomplish exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I did talk to Councilor LeBlanc, and if we need to do a consent agenda, if the packet is out before we get the memo, then we'll do a consent agenda. But I think it's very important that us, with our historical knowledge, tackle this before the new council gets on. So
It is complicated and there's a number of things that may be coming up early in the next calendar year. So yes, they intend to do that.
yeah, so just wanted to let you know what I was working on, and then also reviewing some of the budget line items mid-year. So going through some of those. So if anybody has any questions about budget items or concerns, you know, feel free to discuss and, you know, go to Kenny for assistance, or I'm happy to have the discussion as well. But I am currently working with Kenny on some items that I'm concerned about. Another thing that I'm concerned about is that, sorry, I forgot that I'm supposed to be looking for hands raised and I didn't see any, and sometimes my iPad doesn't notify me. So there is some concern over a budget line item or process of 90-day appointments to a position. It's come to my understanding that in the mayor's office, that Frank Cousins' second 90-day appointment was over on the 17th of November. So as I understand it, they are going to continue to use him as a consultant. We don't know what line item they're going to charge this fee against, but it got me to reviewing the mayor's budget, and I'm concerned that there's not enough money in it for that line item. So if that is in fact the plan, I would like to ask the question of the mayor's office to find out where they're to. I don't know if you guys have heard any of this, but it's a concern because we budget the salary lines for a year at that salary, and it looks like something different is going to happen. So I'm just concerned about where they're going to charge that. So
I'll jump right in with you and back you up on that request. It is, you know, something that we wouldn't want to hinder a new mayor coming on board with a deficit to start with. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only hearing through the rumor mill that, you know, Frank is gone and we don't know what the status of the CAO is or assistant CAO, and I haven't heard anything official out of the administration, so maybe they could enlighten us.
Yes, and it's a position that doesn't need to be filled. You know, obviously, as a working city, we definitely want to see the mayor's office fully staffed. But at the same time, the CAO's salary needed to stop being paid out of that line item as of the 90-day appointment was up, and that was Tuesday, the 17th. And I would like to ensure that that is the case. And if there is an appointment to the CAO, you know, it's available with a 90-day appointment, but we haven't heard anything about who's going to be filling that position, or if they're going to put the current person in front of city council to accept the position long-term. So you know, there's more questions than there are answers, and I'm concerned about, you know, having the money to cover the ideas that have been sloshed around as far as what is going to happen or might happen. So there's just a lot of speculation unknown, and that's frustrating.
I'd certainly join you and John in expressing concern to have that clarified to the best of their ability.
Yes, great. All right. Anything else for budget and finance tonight? None. I have more attendees than I had before, so no, I'm just looking. All right. Any questions from the public before I close the meeting? I'm not seeing any hands up, so all right. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Counselor Memhard,
Yes, good night.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes, good night.
Counselor Cox. Yes, good night. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kenny.